Hello, welcome. Welcome to the latest in the story of Dream Fruit, the lunar tales for Earthlings. We are currently inside the lunar cycle that is the fourth moon of 2025. And this lunar cycle runs from March 29th to April 26th of 2025. And that's the one we're going to be talking about today. Inside the world of Dream Fruit, as you are well aware, we are looking at a story that helps us imagine a better world, basically. This is an eco-punk or lunar punk adventure that's designed to activate a different part of your intelligence, your consciousness, the moon mind, the lunar consciousness, the place that sort of sits in a non-linear state and is receptive, the part that is empathetic, that connects behind what appears on the front surface of things. The moon mind really does shift us from one state of consciousness, the more dominant state of mind, into a place of magic, of enchantment, of possibility of co-arising with the larger world, the more than human world. And so Dream Fruit is really in existence to activate that part of our consciousness. Of course, we want to do this because we're at a time when the earth needs us. And we have been attempting to resolve human-caused problems with one part of the modern human mind activated. And it's simply not sufficient. What is required to resolve the split that the modern human is experiencing, that fundamental split from nature, cosmos, is an internal restitching, resolving the inner split that has kept us apart from that part of our own consciousness, that part of our own intelligence. We must approach this intention to create wholeness in our world by creating wholeness in our own thinking. So that is one underlying premise of the Dream Fruit adventure. And before we dive into the story of now, I do want to speak a little bit about the frame story of Dream Fruit. Dream Fruit is a magical realm of story, of enchantment, inviting us to remember ourselves as part of the larger body of Earth. And so every story that exists inside the Lunar Tales is contained inside this larger story, which is the story of now. It's the context that is true for this moment in the journey of humans on Earth. And that is a twofold story. First of all, the living Earth has been imperiled. We are living at a time of climate crisis, breakdown, dramatic natural disasters, intense weather. And this is not the only layer of the living Earth has been imperiled. Of course, we're also seeing a lot of other, what I consider to be domino effects from this basic truth of climate change. Of course, I could list in great vivid detail all of the ways that our living Earth has been imperiled with species loss and the threat of further extinctions and the breakdown of agricultural systems. And it's heavy. Our living Earth has been imperiled. But there's this ever so crucial, very tiny little word that follows that statement. And our creative nature is rising up. Our creative nature rising up includes wonderful acts of human ingenuity, shocking acts of absolute grace, courage, moral clarity, ecological awakening. Our creative nature rising up is another way of saying that the beautiful Gaia herself is rising through each of us, or attempting to rise through each of us to activate a creative response to the changes and challenges of this time. So our assignment, our mission, is to remember ourselves as Earthling, as a deep part of the weave of life, and to make room for that weave to rise up and sing through us. And when I say it's our creative nature, I mean it is nature and it is inherently creative. We have to be able to expand our thinking. And the creative pathways of play and journaling and art making and music are a deep medicine at this time. Inside Dream Fruit, we are certainly activating a completely different part of the brain because it's the part that has gone unutilized at a time we need it most. So the stories are weird. They're told in a way that is going to just bypass any of the rational gatekeepers, and it's going to go straight into the back of the brain, and kind of, you can imagine a little cauldron where these stories can kind of just bubble through the course of the month, moon by moon. Really give them time to just simmer back there and check in every so often, stir, see what's there. Is there something that's bubbling up that can be a helpful guide for you during this time? So, okay, all of that to say, let's enter the storied realm. Let's enter the world of Dream Fruit, where the living earth has been imperiled and our creative nature is rising up. And we're going to just slowly, slowly, slowly shift your attention to make room for moon mind, to make room for story and the beautiful, sacred, weird. We are entering the dream of the seership moon. And in the dream of the seership moon, we follow our winged guides into the coastal mountains. We are drifting into a light trance as we trace the silver filigree of a meandering stream. The valley's rocky slopes give way to a hidden cave along the stream's edge. Its walls and ceiling are host to great quartz stalactites reaching toward the ground in crystal columns of various sizes. And each column vibrates to a unique tone until the entire space hums, enclosing us in its warm, vibrating glow. Our very bones thrum within the singing crystal cave until we are one with the matrix itself. And do we see into the pulsing eye of Gaia? And is there a vision for each of us alone? Yes. Unseen gifts are gifts nonetheless. Sustain the gaze. Stories are wonderfully engaging. They bring us into a slightly different place that we can perhaps consider life from a very different place. So as we're considering the story of the seership time, what stands out for you? What images, what feeling or reaction, what movement? Is there a word from the story that activates your mind, your heart, your consciousness, your intuition? We are following this silver meandering stream. We're following the winged guides who have been with us this entire year up into this mountainous place, and then we find up in the mountains along this meandering stream a cave along the stream's edge, and it has these great quartz stalactites reaching toward the ground in crystal columns of various sizes, and each of these quartz columns vibrates to a unique tone. And as we are in this light trance with these quartz columns vibrating, then we ourselves become part of the vibration. Our very bones are like these columns of quartz. Our very bones struck with vibration until we are one with the matrix itself in the singing crystal cave. And it is here, it is then, it is in this moment that we are in full vibration inside this cave that we see the pulsing eye of Gaia, that we see a vision for each of us alone. Each of us receives something unique and particular, just like each of these stalactites has a unique and particular tone. Our skeletons, our vibrating bodies have a unique and particular signature. And this is why these are the visioning caves, because we go here to receive this deep, true vibration, to remember it, to see the pulsing eye of Gaia and remember ourselves in relationship to that. Unseen gifts are gifts nonetheless. Sustain the gaze, not a time to look away. Not a time to look away. Not a time to think, oh, that I don't have anything to offer. There's nothing for me to do here. In fact, there is everything to do here. For each of us, there is a thing that is vibrating inside of us. Gaia, the pulsing eye of Gaia, holding our eyes, holding our gaze. I see you. I see you, she says. This is you. This is yours to be. These are your gifts. Sustain the gaze. The image that really stands out for me, well, there are a few things. One is we know that Venus is in retrograde at this time. And so I find it perfect that we are kind of entering a cave. And I love that we have been following this meandering stream, this silver filigree of the mountain stream. And I can't help but think of the snake and the year of the snake that we're in and the path that is not the direct path. Sometimes it goes this way and then this way. And eventually, perhaps, we find what is true for us. So the truth might not be the result of a direct line. The truth might be the result of following a meandering course and arriving at a place that actually doesn't put us in the middle of a town square, but in a cave where we can hear our own bones singing. What is it that you can do to return to what is true and singing inside of you? What is the noise that needs to be cut out? We go into a cave because we want to be away from all of the activity of the world, the outer world. So it's a really good time to consider what detritus, what mental noise is fading to the background. But it's not to escape it. It's so that we can hear more clearly the underlying patterns, the underlying vibration. So, retreating in order to clarify, trusting intuition, trusting a different mode of mind, releasing background noise, releasing the unnecessary extras, following what perhaps is not a direct course. Looking again, look again and long enough to see the pattern beneath the pattern. And the pattern beneath the pattern, in my opinion, and of course we imagine this to be true inside the world of dream fruit, is a thriving world seeking to emerge. A thriving, cooperative world where humans return to our role as stewards and lovers of our creature kin, where we return to our radical belongingness and interrelatedness, and we act from that place. This is what I believe to be the underlying pattern that is emerging if we can be true enough in our gaze to actually see it. So, of course, in a very personal, mundane way, this can show up in a lot of ways. You might just look again and long enough, and then you can start to notice and connect the dots. Oh yeah, that is what I do. A personal example, I've been recreating my office space and having to really tackle my relationship to paper clutter. I'm always writing down like random little ideas and putting them on on whatever slip of paper I can find. All of these things then accumulate and I don't have a good system and I see that I need to address the underlying pattern of how do I relate to these bits of paper? How do I resolve the clutter? Well, taking the time, and I mean, I have been taking very serious time to sustain the gaze. Let's look at the behaviors here. I could deal with the clutter, sort, organize, yada, yada. But if I don't look at the behavior underneath it, the pattern underneath it, I'm just going to be in the same situation again in a month or in another 6 months. We also know that this is happening on a large scale. If we don't address the underlying mode of consciousness that has created the problems of now, that has brought us to the living earth has been imperiled, if we don't address the underlying rift between ourselves and our beautiful planet home, then we're going to just keep recreating this problem. It might have a different face each time, but it's going to be the same problem, the problem of separation, the problem of estrangement from our beautiful kin, our beautiful family of life on earth. So I really just want to emphasize that this is an exceptional time to honor your intuitive hits, to consider that the solutions won't necessarily be linear, to also consider that your unique vibration is actually awesome and inspiring and part of the necessary chorus of now, that there is a place for each of us. And even in our weirdness, even in the strange and wonderful insights that might bubble up from unexpected places this month, there is a place for all of that. We have the need to be vibrating in our own personal truth. And we are in an eclipse time, so a lot of this might feel kind of intense, but finding ways to get into that cave and trust the insights that you discover there. The journal prompt for this month: what long lost visions can you revive? Seeing behind the veil takes skill and practice. This is a time of seership. So we really want to hone what helps us kind of see the next level down. But once we do, it's only helpful if we are prepared to speak the truth about what we see. Life is counting on you to do so. So may it be a time of truth tellers. Even when the truth seems weird, make room for it. It's okay. And may all of our adventures inside the world of dream fruit bring us closer and closer to liberation in our world and in our own personal lives. We will be back with our thrilling next episode in the Dream Fruit Lunar Tales on April 27th. April 27th will be our next new moon. So we will see you then. Blessings.